welcome to Sunday here. I wanted to share a little bit about how I actually have been working to actually live more in alignment with both myself, my life, my bigger dreams, the ones that I've accomplished, the ones that are on the horizon. And one of the things I've recently started doing is actually taking a little bit of time on Sunday to actually pause and plan for the week so that I know what I'm focusing on, and then to actually make sure that those things that are super important actually get done. So, again, this is something that's kind of new, and today's a little bit of a co-working session. So if you want, grab your planner or and your phone because you need your calendar, whether that's on the wall or both places. I kind of work with a few different things just to make sure I have everything lined up. And you know, I've got my coffee here, so maybe grab something tasty too, and then let's get diving in here and see how I actually slow down to take the time to make the time to accomplish and get these things taken care of. So, and this is my first time going live. I'm doing my best to actually stream to both YouTube and Facebook. So, hopefully it works. And if you're watching and you're seeing it, I'd love for you to pop it in the chat that, hey, I'm seeing you, I'm here, so that I can have a little bit of reassurance that it's all working just so. So, where I start first is I have, before these moments, I've definitely taken some time to get clear on what it is that my goals are. And I've done that a couple different ways. And I have a couple tools for you if you need something to get you started totally free. But I have my Miracle Month Planner, and then I have my Overwhelmed to Aligned guidebook. And these two things have helped me and walked me through some basic steps to be able to actually sit here and know that I have my big overarching goal that I'm working towards. And then I know these smaller little blocks that I'm working on that will actually help me get to that bigger goal. Because in the grand scheme of things, Rome wasn't built in a day, and change doesn't happen overnight. And if you're looking for that change overnight, that's often somewhat unrealistic. And yet, we're so accustomed to hearing all of these quick fixes and that, hey, you can do this in 2 weeks or take the time and just make it happen. Yet, those things seem really unrealistic often for real life. And that is why, some diet plans or lifestyle hacks and tips and tricks actually fail us because they're a little too much all at once. And they more or less promise things that really aren't attainable for our lives in our everyday moments. So by now, you should have grabbed your planner if you're going to work through this with me. Otherwise, just listen, and you can always pop back and watch and work through this on your own. So I always start with what happened at the end of last week. Now, usually I try on Fridays or Thursdays, whatever end of my week might look like, and actually pull my sticky notes that I didn't get done and I plunk them on the front of my planner so I know what I need to follow up with this coming week that maybe I didn't get finished, or maybe were a priority last week and that didn't quite get done. So the very first thing I do is I start with my personal side of things because I am doing my best to design a business and a lifestyle around the life that I want to live. And this is a act in progress. By no means am I perfect, and I don't really ever intend to be. But I do know that when I have a little bit more focus, I'm able to accomplish more and get things done. And then I feel more at peace personally because I'm not overwhelmed with all those scattered thoughts across my head. So I grab my pen and grab my calendar here, and I take a look at the things that I know that are glaring on my calendar. This week, one of my kids has an orthodontist appointment. We have a different sports schedule. We're switching from winter to spring, so those things are getting added in here. Clients, they show up on my personal calendar, so I go ahead and add them at this time. Meetings that I have, I'm seeing them physically on my calendar, so I go ahead and mark those things. And then once I have all of that taken care of, I'm able to, see here where I have blocks of time. Ouch. Where I have little blocks of time where I can actually start to put in the things that are on my sticky notes and to-dos. And before this, I always pause and take a brain dump from when I put the schedule on there and doing the next thing. So set yourself a timer, grab yourself a piece of paper or a sticky note, and just write down all of the things that you have in your brain that need to get done. So it could be stuff like laundry and whatnot. And I really try my best to split things up between personal life and what I need to do from a business standpoint. However, all the thoughts are just sometimes jumbled, and I just make two different lists at that point. I put one personal and one Leanna Wellness so that I know where those things go. And just take those few minutes here. I'll give you 2 minutes and you can start to just put this stuff down. Okay, if you want a little more time here, go ahead and pause the video so that you have that time. But I'm going to keep moving on just to keep it going here. So one of the other things I also have on here are my daily tracker of what's important to me from a routine, task, and habits. So I love to workout, and it's something that I do. I move my body every day or another. Sometimes it's just a simple little stretch before bed. Sometimes it's a little bit more of an intense workout, or sometimes I'm with clients working out with them, or leading them through yoga. So I make sure those things are accounted for and I write those down here, as well as I have my big goal, like I mentioned, and then I have those other things. I make sure I get those things on here as well so that I can stay and keep track of what I'm actually doing to accomplish those things. Because one of the things our brain will do is it will start to send you in a tizzy and kind of throw that temper tantrum when it's overwhelmed or doesn't know what to do, or it can't see the little steps to get there. So taking this short little bit of time, and each week this is like 10 to 15 minutes maximum, I'm able to get my things out on paper so they're out of my brain. So when I sit down at my desk later on the days that I have some time, I know exactly what I need to do and I can be super focused. And if I wasn't able to, because I've had to pivot in life with kids and life and things like that, I'm able to move things around pretty easily because I've already seen where I have time and space to do that. I also, at this point, take a look at that schedule that I put in there and start to drop my meal plan that I have in for the week. Now, I do not meal plan. I am a pantry chef. I blow with the wind when it comes to recipes. Often I don't even follow a recipe. I just make them up in my brain and season it until it tastes good. I know that's not for everybody. Some people like a little more structure and whatnot. But what I found for me is that if I have a little bit of a framework that I can work off of, I am able to stay focused, and it makes meal prepping, grocery shopping, and all of that a little bit easier, as well as gives me the freedom to be a little loosey goosey and not feel so strict or poignant on what it is that I have to do. Especially times you plan something and you don't have the energy, you don't have the time, you don't even feel like having that meal that day. So one of the biggest to remember here when you're taking this time to look at your calendar is really to give yourself the space and the peace so that you can plan out what your priorities are, what your must do's are, what are just your little to do's, what are your daily habits and trackers, tasks, and routines that are helping you get to that next level self. And that's how you really start to live aligned, by taking the time to make the time for your bigger goals and all the little ones along the way. So if this has at all resonated with you and you're working on a goal, leave me a comment. I would love to see what you are up to, what you're working on, what your goals are. And then also, too, if you stumble on this and you're like feeling a deep resistance to it, let's chat about that. Because often we feel resistance to things that we know we need to do, but we just aren't doing them. And that can then continue to weigh on us and compound and keep that circle and that merry-go-round going round and round of overwhelm and frustration. And the big goal here for me showing up on these days and times with you is to help you cut through that overwhelm, to remind you that it's okay to take things one step at a time because we're here for the long game. We're not here for the quick fixes. We've tried those, done that, been there, done that, and they don't work, they don't stick. We end up having to start over. So the goal is we're not restarting every Monday or every week or every few weeks. And we are starting exactly where we are and then moving forward from there. So, again, if this at all resonates with you, schedule a call with me. I'd love to hear what you're up to and just have a conversation because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. No one should have to feel alone or overwhelmed or stuck or frustrated. Those are all things that can be worked through. And sometimes you just need somebody to help hold your hand, give you a little bit of accountability, and help you get to that next level. So, thanks for watching. Have a great day. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. All right, talk soon.